Welcome. So you've shared some really thought-provoking ideas about how the tension we carry, those chronic aches,
Yeah.
how they might actually be holding deeper messages for us.
Mm-hmm.
So today, let's really dig into that. What if this physical stuff isn't just random? What if it's actually a clue, sort of pointing towards parts of ourselves we haven't quite met yet?
Exactly. It's looking beyond the usual explanations, like maybe a tight jaw or those shoulders always up by your ears. Maybe it's not just stress from work.
Right.
Maybe it's the body trying to communicate something that hasn't quite surfaced into our conscious awareness.
Yeah, and those stories you shared really brought this home. Thinking about Anna with her shoulders constantly hiked up. So many of us know that feeling, don't we?
Absolutely.
You blame the chair or a bad night's sleep. But for her, there was that moment,
Mm.
looking in the mirror, I think, where it clicked
Yeah.
that maybe it was something more.
Yes, that flicker of recognition.
And that tightness in her throat, too, like something was physically held back.
That moment is so important. It's when we start questioning those automatic answers. Anna's situation really shows how the body can, well, almost speak what the voice isn't saying.
Hmm.
A clenched jaw. It can feel like words swallowed, emotions pushed down deep.
And then there was Marcus.
Yeah.
Everyone saw him as totally calm, unflappable on the outside.
Right, the picture of composure.
But those details,
Yeah.
the constantly tight fist, that jaw again,
Yeah.
it told a different story, didn't it?
It really did. It makes you wonder what he was holding on to so tightly, what needed such careful, constant control.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, that gap between the face we show the world and what our actual physical experience is revealing, that outward calm Marcus showed. Well, it likely took tremendous energy to maintain.
Energy manifesting as tension.
Exactly. That constant tension could be the very energy of keeping a lid on on whatever was really going on inside, his true feelings, maybe.
It definitely makes you think about your own body, doesn't it?
Mm.
We all carry tension somewhere.
We do.
And sure, some of it is just life, daily stress.
Yeah.
But what we explored suggests that when it becomes habitual, when we're always sort of bracing or ignoring.
That's when patterns set in.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
It's not just physical anymore, is it?
Mm.
It starts to seep into our thoughts, our feelings, how we relate to people.
Yeah.
That knot in your stomach might be more than just butterflies.
That's so true. And habitual tension can become so normal, like background noise, that we barely register it consciously.
Right.
But it's still there, subtly shaping our posture, our breathing, even how we react. It's like the body keeps this physical record of our journey. Tension is part of that
A
record.
soundtrack almost.
Yeah, a subtle soundtrack to our lives.
Okay, so we see how it shows up, but how do we even start to understand what it might be trying to tell us?
Yeah.
What's the way in?
Well, one powerful idea is shifting our perspective. Instead of seeing tension as something bad, something to just get rid of immediately.
Like popping a painkiller or booking a massage straight away.
Exactly. What if instead we saw it as an invitation, a moment to pause and get curious?
An invitation.
Okay.
To ask, what might be happening here? That ache, that stiffness. Could it be a messenger? Could it be carrying a story about how you've been moving through the world, how you've been coping?
That's a really different frame. Moving away from tension as the enemy
Mm-hmm.
to tension as potentially communication. And this connects to the idea of unfinished business, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That really resonated. Like residue from experiences we haven't fully processed.
Yes, and what's so insightful there is how those incomplete emotional cycles can actually get sort of lodged, physically held in the body.
Like Anna's shoulders or Marcus's jaw again.
Precisely. Those could be the physical footprints of emotions, maybe fear or anger or grief, that didn't get a chance to fully express themselves or resolve way back when the energy just got stuck.
And you mentioned those survival responses, fight, flight, freeze. We all kind of know about fight or
Or
flight.
the more active ones.
But the idea that the freeze response can actually interrupt that natural flow of processing emotions, that was eye-opening for me.
It's crucial. Freezing can be incredibly protective when we're overwhelmed, no doubt. But it can also halt the natural progression of feeling and release.
Okay.
The energy cycle gets broken, and that interruption often shows up later as chronic tension. The body is still holding on to something that didn't get to finish.
This feels connected to the idea of awareness you brought up. It's not just noticing the tension now, but starting to see how past experiences might still be living in our bodies today.
Exactly. Awareness in this sense is about recognizing those ingrained patterns, the ways we learn to cope, the defenses we built.
Things we might not even realize we're doing.
Often, yes. And how those defenses might be unintentionally stopping us from fully experiencing what's happening right here, right now. It's like seeing the invisible threads connecting past events to present sensations.
And then there's contact, not just with others, but contact with ourselves, even with the discomfort itself. Like actually staying present with that ache or tightness instead of immediately zoning out or trying to fix it.
Contact, used this way, is really an act of courage, self-inquiry. It means being willing to gently turn towards the very sensations we might have spent years avoiding.
Like with Anna's grief, or the fear under Marcus's control.
Yes. Allowing ourselves to make contact, to really feel the tension without judgment, can be the doorway to understanding the emotional truth it holds.
It definitely takes courage, because our instinct is often to pull away from unpleasant feelings, isn't it?
Absolutely.
We build up defenses for good reason, they protect us. But the downside, as you pointed out, is that those same protections can keep us stuck in these tense patterns.
That's the paradox, isn't it? They offer safety, maybe, but they can also prevent deeper resolution and growth. And sometimes these defenses become so automatic we're not even aware of how they're running the show.
And that leads to this idea of, was it phenomenological exploration?
Yeah.
Which sounds complex, but it seemed to boil down to simply describing what we feel.
Exactly that. Just describing the raw sensation. What is it like? Where is it? How intense? Without layering on the usual story or judgment.
Like, okay, there's tightness in my chest, rather than, oh no, I'm anxious about that meeting.
Precisely. By focusing on the direct experience, the pure data of the body in this moment, we can sometimes bypass those well-worn mental loops.
Get closer to the source.
Yes. Accessing the unfiltered experience before interpretation kicks in.
Which feels like a really valuable tool for starting this process. And it's clear this isn't about finding a quick fix. It's a process. It takes time, patience.
And self-responsibility.
Right. And that felt important. Not responsibility as in blame, it's my fault, I'm tense, but more like empowerment. Recognizing our ability to engage with what's happening right now.
Beautifully put. It's shifting from feeling like tension just happens to us passively
Yeah.
to recognizing our active role in how we respond, how we hold our experiences, taking ownership of our own inner world, our well-being.
Those turning points for Anna and Marcus were so vivid. For Anna, it was the tears finally coming, wasn't it? And that memory surfacing.
Yes, the memory of being silenced as a child. That release of tears was like a dam breaking. Her body was finally letting go of something held for so long.
Wow.
And the link to the childhood memory just underscores how these physical patterns can be deeply rooted in past experiences that still echo within us.
And for Marcus, allowing himself to make sound, that sobbing, releasing that immense pressure of having to be perfect, always in control.
For him, allowing that sound, that vocalization, it was such a powerful act of letting go, a crack in that stoic facade he'd maintained for years.
Yeah.
The release wasn't just sadness, perhaps, but years of pent-up everything, all the feelings he hadn't permitted himself.
These examples really highlight the importance of what you called completing the cycle, don't they? Giving ourselves permission somehow to finish those emotional responses that got cut off.
Yes, and the key isn't about, wild, uncontrolled outbursts. It's more about consciously, maybe in a safe space, allowing the natural expression of an emotion that was previously interrupted.
Letting it move through.
Letting it complete its natural course, whether that's anger, sadness, fear, even joy sometimes gets suppressed.
And underpinning all of this, it seems, is self-compassion. Treating ourselves with kindness through this exploration rather than harsh judgment.
Oh, absolutely crucial. Self-compassion creates the internal safety needed to even approach these often vulnerable, tender places within ourselves.
Softening that inner critic.
Exactly. It allows for acceptance of our struggles, our imperfections, our pain. Being gentle with ourselves as we navigate these deeper currents.
So as we kind of draw this together, the main takeaway really feels like this. These aches, these tensions. They're probably not just random noise.
Likely not.
They're more like messages, maybe signals from parts of ourselves that have stories to tell, like locked doors,
Yeah.
almost waiting to be opened.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And the invitation then is to turn towards these physical sensations, not with frustration, but with curiosity, with care, recognizing them as potential pathways to understanding ourselves more deeply. Behind every discomfort, there's likely a unique story about your life, your experiences, how you learn to survive and adapt.
And it's definitely a journey, isn't it? Not a one-time fix, but this ongoing process of discovery, learning about ourselves layer by layer, finding new connections.
It truly is an unfolding.
It really leaves you with a question, doesn't it? Something to sit with. Which door inside myself might I be ready to gently open next?